Hello, it's Simon's Pay and we're back with another video. What are we doing today?
So I came across this clip online
Again?
of an EFF member confessing about what it's like on the inside.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Basically, she's giving her experience of what it's like on the inside. And that's some very good insight for those who do not know what it's like to be an EFF member.
Yeah.
So let's take a look. Let's take a quick look at this clip.
Yeah,
and then you tell me what you think about it.
So I wanted to talk about the EFF, and this is something that I was struggling with because I've kind of been one foot in, one foot out for a while. am a member of the EFF. And back in the day, you know, a few years ago, you could have conversations about the EFF, you could critique it. But now it feels as if the EFF is no longer that space, that if you speak negatively about the EFF or if you critique it, the only response is denigration and attacks. It's almost become an anti-intellectual space. The reason I'm also making this video is because I think that the EFF is a default for a lot of young progressive people, a lot of young black people. The EFF makes the most sense, and it still does, right? Right. So I'm a Pan-Africanist, I'm a socialist, and if you connect the dots, the EFF makes the most sense. But there are two specific things that have made me really doubt the political clarity of the EFF. And the first is the flip-flopping on issues, and the second is just strategy and being able to politically engage with the issues of South Africa in meaningful and practical ways. Do you guys remember a year or two ago, Julius Malema woke up one morning and decided to do inspections of businesses in this mall in Joburg to see how many foreign workers were working there. Now that's clearly xenophobic, I'm not going to argue that, but the EFF is home to many intellectual Pan-Africanist scholars who I respect so much, and they were bending over backwards to defend that shit. And then a few months later, we're back to being Pan-Africanist and we're saying no to xenophobia, and Julius Malema saying no, don't vote for me if you're xenophobic. And it's like, so what? You can just flop like that and everything just goes back to normal. It also made me question the values and the ideals that people supposedly hold, because if you're Pan-Africanist and the leader of your political party does something, you should be able to call it out. You should be able to say, I disagree with this. This is not a part of our value system. But they didn't. And I was like, And the second thing is what happened at UCT last year, where the EFF first held a protest in support of queer people in Uganda in terms of the bill that was being introduced, and then goes back and invites someone to UCT who is in support of that same bill. Julius Malema was actually talking about it last night. Well, not last night, I watched the video last night on the Lester Kivet show, and even his explanation of it was just silly and beneath him. And then the EFF is always busy with ANC internal politics. Julius Malema is taking a side, not to mention all the ANC rejects who find a home in the EFF. Carl Niehaus. You telling me that me and Carl Niehaus are in the same political party? That's embarrassing for me. And what does that mean? What does that say about the caliber of the people in the EFF when we just take anybody who gets rejected and thrown out like a dog by the ANC?
So what are your thoughts on all of that?
Oh my gosh.
A lot to unpack.
There's a lot to unpack. She does mention a lot of flip-flopping from Julius, which I agree with. There is an element of flip. It's very dangerous when a leader of a party does flip-flop like that, right? Because it's very difficult to really say where they stand with regards to something, and how can you trust anything that they say going forward? One thing about Julius is that he does say things with conviction, and you will be convinced that that's what he believes, you know what I'm saying? So he says things passionately, and I feel like he also believes that this is what I strongly believe, and then he'll say something else with the same conviction as well, and you just have to hop onto that now. It's just how it is. And that's what's dangerous about a party that is just that's always just about one person and their ideologies and how they want things and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And if you disagree with him, then you kind of get pushed on the sideline.
Okay, yeah, it's interesting that, and you know what the scary thing is that, again, like, over time, as you become more powerful, over time in your organization as well, you would want to limit any challenges that you have. So Julius, again, strikes me as like an autocratic leader where he's driven by his ideals more than the will of the people.
And the thing is about being that is that you always have to bet on you being right all the time.
Yeah, which is dangerous.
Which is dangerous.
Very dangerous. So autocratic leaders have that complex that what they believe in is the right thing.
Is the right way.
And if anybody questions that, then they are wrong. You have to expel them and get rid of them because they're going against your vision, which your vision is the right one. And the danger with that, again, is that, okay, you cannot criticize, one, and then two, anybody, so that eliminates a space for intellectual conversation. Because
you have to switch off your mind for a leader.
You basically have to believe in everything that he believes in, or you're out. So we have instances like that where over time people cannot criticize him anymore. And then with there's a recent scandal with remember that scandal with Nale the Shewa where she missed the meeting because she had to attend to a child.
And then they basically axed her.
Yeah, then basically Julius wasn't happy with the way she worded her letter or something like that.
You see?
And then she was, I think she was number 40 on the MPs list for EFF. Basically, she was gonna get back into parliament. And then Julius moved her to number 200. So basically, her chances of getting back into 200 are into parliament is very low. So basically, remove.
That is so petty.
So you see things like that. If you go against him or you don't make him happy, or
it's like that horrible boss or the Mad King. You know, the Mad King. If it was those times, he probably would have killed you because you didn't. You know, like those kids, like because you're not doing what they want. That's a Mad King. In modern days, it's a mad president. Like. Mad.
So again, it's like like people always come for me. Like whenever I have anything bad to say or criticizing.
Come on, guys, we all allowed to have an opinion.
Isn't this an intellectual space?
You know, it's an intellectual space.
Isn't this supposed to be an intellectual space where we discuss different ideas and discourse?
You know, this is the thing I feel. Like, one, we need to accept that people's, and I stand by this, like people's views can change, right? Because, like, you know what I'm saying? And two, we should be free to express, because an opinion exists, you know what I'm saying? And it exists for a reason. And sometimes somebody saying something could actually lead us to answer a certain question that we may have had in our mind. So to block out a view is it's insane. So that's the only way we can, you know, progress as people, is if we create a safe space for us to have opinions and be honest and sincere about our opinions and not bash each other. Like, I really want our community to really be about that. It's like a safe space for us to, because we're just regular South Africans with regular opinions. I can be passionate about a certain opinion today, but then I can learn something tomorrow that answers, you know, what my ignorance may be that I previously had about something. And I actually, you know, hey, maybe I was wrong. So it's okay. Like, it's really okay to have opinions.
Yeah, but again, like I say,
as long as they're not from
the ideal
out of malice.
The ideal is intellectual conversations and stuff like that. But again, whenever you criticize Julius, EFF supporters come and
that is the cultiness we're talking about.
That's
like
very cult-like behavior.
Make your point. It's okay. Like, sometimes you can make your point. Argue the argument, not the person. Like, if the person is saying Julius Malema is a dictator. Don't come, hey, you ANC fool, or you whatever, you idiot, or you ignorant, or whatever. Firstly, assuming that a person is, you know, whatever, or even assuming that they're not remotely supporting the EFF. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. Speak to the point. Argue the point. Argue what the person is saying, and not even argue. There's no need for argument. You really raise your where you're at. Sometimes it just shows me that you're not in a place of confidence within your, you know what I'm saying, within your view of the thing. So it's like anybody speaking against it, it kind of like shakes your foundation a little bit, and then you become very insecure because you're believing this with all. And it's okay, we understand, a lot of us have those things, but we need to be able to, we need to understand that at some point you gotta be a little vulnerable, and when you're vulnerable you can open up your mind to a lot of things, and you can make more informed decisions. So we're also not saying that we know exactly who we're gonna vote for. That's why we are opening up these conversations, and for the mere fact that these views are there and they exist, it's things that need to be addressed so that we can have more confidence in whomever we decide to, you know, to elect at the end. And what we like to do and what we're doing here is just bringing the different options and trying to unpack things as unbiased as possible, as unbiased as we possibly can, so that we can all formulate our own opinions, and then we can come to our own decisions at the end.
Yeah, so again, for people like me, well, for people like you, EFF is a very nice place for you to be at, because you align to the core values of Pan-Africanism, and socialism, and all of that.
Yeah.
For people like me who are more skeptical of a lot of things, like, we need a lot more convincing, and people who just come out and just attack you do not help the situation. Instead of trying to have like just a conversation about it, you come out and disrespect and attack people. It doesn't help your cause at all. And it kind of just tells people that the EFF is more like a cult than people want to believe. Yeah. And whenever we say EFF is a cult, people are always triggered as well.
So sometimes you need to check yourself, like, are we moving right?
Yeah,
you know?
but the signs are there.
Yeah.
The signs are there, and it gets scary. You know, I don't know if you talk about this, but there's a clip of Julius being asked how much bread is. You see that?
I don't know.
He didn't know. He didn't know how much bread was, because he's in a position where he doesn't need to know how much bread is, because I think maybe he gets people.
Did he say that?
Yeah, he said that.
Oh my god.
I think he gets people to do his groceries for him and stuff like that.
Oh my god.
And then also he didn't know that bread is not taxed.
So he's not different, let's be honest.
A loaf of bread, a staple of South Africans.
I wouldn't know how much is the price of a loaf of bread, because I'm in a position where I don't have to go and buy a loaf of bread, but you know, bread and all of the staple food, that must be removed from that, and the government must ensure that those staple food are accessible.
It sounds very similar.
It sounds very familiar
to ANC ministers. Sounds very similar.
Yeah.
He's out of touch with. He's not living like a normal South African is.
No. And like, we don't force, like.
That's also a danger on its own, that Julius is. He's not living like the average South African. It could just take us back to, again, what the ANC is doing.
Absolutely. And even worse, with the dictator this time, who's not willing to listen.
Just critiquing Julius is not a sign of that I don't like him. Or,
yeah.
I'm just seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
I'm
questioning.
Are we not allowed to do that anymore?
Of course.
He's supposed to be perfect.
Everything he does. What? Are you Jesus?
He does no wrong. Yeah, I guess some EFF supporters feel that way.
That's true.
Yeah, but it was very interesting insights from an EFF member. Clearly, there's some beef in there as well, because some people are not happy that the EFF taking in ANC rejects. I was also a gripe of mine with the likes of MK as well. Like, you can't take the very same people that you're fighting against.
And then still put them in the forefront.
You're taking in the very same people that you're fighting against, and
those people,
that is not
especially when they are rejected, like they were thrown out, not because they somehow changed their ways and changed their views and all of that. But
one might argue that being rejected
because your views have changed.
Oh yeah, your views have changed and you're against what the ANC so that's why you reject. One might argue that.
Oh my gosh,
but anyway, it was an interesting conversation. You guys just let us know what you think about it.
Let us know.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And keep watching. Goodbye.
We'll check you guys in the next one.